Hey all, Scott here, and it truly is absolutely astonishing what can happen in 10 years. Hey y'all, Future Scott here, and welcome to 2027, where I wear a chef hat now, and where Robo-Ebola reigns supreme. It's a 2027 thing you wouldn't understand. Man, I was expecting to see a gravestone, but a Robo-Ebola epidemic works too. But I think it's about time we roll the clock back 10 years instead to the release of one of the greatest things Nintendo ever spat out. This right here is my favorite game of all time. Super Mario Galaxy was the perfect blend of everything Mario did prior, but pummeling in a hearty dose of new and innovation. Development of Mario Galaxy can be traced all the way back to the introduction of the GameCube. In 2000, at Nintendo's Space World trade show, Shigeru Miyamoto showed off a tech demo entitled Super Mario 128. The name was not only supposed to insinuate it was a sequel to Super Mario 64, but also describe exactly what it was: 128 Marios. Not only did it show off how many characters could be displayed on a GameCube game, but also displayed shifting terrain and characters walking on planet-like spheres. Miyamoto consistently pleaded that Mario 128 was still being worked on in the coming years, saying that it was more than a tech demo, which ended up being a load of garbage. In 2007, Miyamoto confirmed Mario 128 was merely just a tech demo to show off the power of the GameCube, yet they took the technology employed in the demo and used it on other games. Mario 128 became this sex of a game: Metroid Prime, Twilight Princess, and Super Mario Galaxy. Development was headed by Nintendo EAD Tokyo. In 2005, they recently wrapped up development of Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and wanted to make a Mario game that was a real crowd pleaser, something that turned every dial in the house as far to the right as possible: a cinematic, epic Mario game. They wanted to expand upon Mario 128's spherical platforms, and the idea of them being planets obviously made sense, so the outer space setting was determined there. Galaxy was shown off at E3 2006 and was planned as a launch title for the Wii at one point, but the developers wanted to take their sweet time, and the launch of the game was delayed to November 2007. November 1st for Japan, November 16th for Europe, and November 12th for here in North America. Not only is the 12th of November World Pneumonia Day, but also the day when boys became men, girls became women, and the term Nirvana started making a whole lot more sense because this thick honker was released in North America. 10 years, man, that is nuts! Back when Wii discs looked like they were made with only 3 different colored Sharpies and Madden 08 was justifiably the latest and greatest. The story here is the same thing as the last century of Mario games, but with some zazz. Mario is invited to the Star Festival at Peach's Castle. Bowser crashes the party with a UFO. He rips the entirety of Peach's castle out of the ground as a means to kidnap Peach. Well, Mario is blasted away by Kamek and is awoken by a star creature named Luma on a small planet where he meets up with Rosalina, the protector of galaxies. She reveals that Bowser had stolen the power stars that help power her ship, the Comet Observatory, and Mario will have to go to various galaxies to collect these stars back to help power the ship so they can traverse to the center of the universe to rescue Peach. The story works so well in Galaxy. At no point does it really feel like the creators are saying, "Alright guys, hear me out on this." Everything works so well in the context of the game. It's the tried and true Mario lore we've gotten used to, but with a cinematic feel. Galaxy basically wants you to audibly gasp at everything they throw at you story-wise, and I kinda love it because of that. Galaxy can make a run-of-the-mill trope of a Mario game feel like a life or death situation. In recent Mario games like Super Mario Odyssey, Bowser looks like he needs tuba music accompanying his every move. When I see him, my only thought is, man, I gotta get out of here, what if he sits on me? In Galaxy, Bowser actually feels like a threat, all based on the game's amazing presentation. This is not only one of the best looking Wii games, but one of the best looking Mario games out there. Yeah, the graphics don't look as smooth as forthcoming games such as 3D World, but my god, the colors, the lighting, the art design, it all culminates into a game that's a joy to look at and feels like they truly got the most out of the hardware this game is on. And the music is worthy. I believe this is the first Mario game with an orchestrated score. They did this to give the game a more epic feeling, and man oh man, what a score. Not all the tracks are fully orchestrated, but Galaxy is home to some of the greatest Mario and Nintendo music ever created. There's such a good variety of old remixes, new classics, and themes that just add to the flavor seizure that your eyes are witnessing. So Mario Galaxy looks fantastic, sounds brilliant, and has what I would consider the perfect Mario story. But none of that matters if the game blows. Mario Galaxy was touted by Nintendo as the true successor to Mario 64.
In one sense, this is the first worthy successor to Super Mario 64.
You see, there was this game that came after 64 entitled Super Mario Sunshine, but Nintendo decided the game was too Super Mario Sunshiny to be considered a Mario 64 sequel. Super Mario Galaxy follows the basic format of prior 3D Mario games, being of course 64 and Sunshine, but adds a large pot of linearity to the mix. Galaxy features a tremendous amount of levels, coined as galaxies, to explore in comparison to its two predecessors. Select a galaxy, select a mission, and complete it by nabbing the Power Star at the end. These missions are incredibly straightforward when looking at them next to 64 and Sunshine. Like I said, these three games follow a similar format, the difference being in how the levels are designed. Prior games featured far fewer yet bigger levels, which allowed them to cram more missions in each of them, and in some cases allow players to select a specific mission, but complete a different one. Galaxy has much smaller levels and less wiggle room for the player to explore. 64 and Sunshine leave a lot to the player to figure out and discover on their own, while with Galaxy, 90% of the time it is uproariously apparent what you're supposed to do the second you enter a level. This sounds like a negative aspect of the game, and for some it is. Galaxy takes more inspiration from 2D Mario games in terms of the player's objectives, as it's much more linear and straightforward. I love the open sandbox style of Mario game that 64 and Sunshine are, and overall I'd say I have more of an appreciation towards that style of gameplay and level design. But man, Galaxy is just so much fun and so freaky brilliant with how it executes its concepts that I love both of these styles equally. And this game has some insane gravity mechanics. Mario Galaxy utilizes the sphere walking technology from Mario 128, and it definitely made this game stick out hard. You can literally walk all around a planet. Sometimes it can be a little weird, but it can be insanely easy to get used to. It's really amazing how they can make this mechanic that seems like it would have been overly complicated be simply second nature. You ever wonder what it would be like if they made Jesus the game? Oh wait, Mario is a Christ figure in this game. He controls fantastically. It may be just me, but I feel like they tweaked Mario's controls so he'd feel completely one with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo used in the game. When Mario crouches, I feel it, man. Like they made him look a bit more boxy to look like the Z button. I mean, it may be just me, but I think he looks like a Z button, which makes crouching fun. Moving around is fun. Performing pro moves like triple jumping, wall jumping, long jumping, it's all fun and feels great. Of course, the big new addition to Mario's moveset is spinning. Flick the Wii Remote to make Mario spin, which can be used to defeat enemies and also give you some extra airtime. 64 and Sunshine both had their own forms of attacking, with 64 having this rank punch and kick, and Sunshine having Flood, allowing you to use water to hover or stun enemies. However, I'd say the spin is the most useful attack. I can't say Flood wasn't incredibly versatile and useful as a platforming tool, but attack-wise, spinning is so satisfying when you directly hit an enemy, man. It works so incredibly well. You may think flicking the Wii Remote for this attack would be incredibly hit and miss, but I've never had a problem with the Wii Remote misreading my movements. Galaxy makes tremendous use of the Wii Remote's technology. It's definitely here, but doesn't take center stage. This is a true Mario game, with motion control elements supplementing it. But I'd say the Wii Remote's pointer functionality is more prevalent here than motion. Nearly all the time during gameplay, you can point the Wii Remote at the screen and the star cursor will appear, allowing you to immediately collect a new item in the game known as star bits. Star bits were basically implemented in the game due to the amount of quick cutscenes of Mario flying through space. These don't require player input, so most of the time during these sections there's a hefty supply of star bits for you to collect while Mario is zooming to the next planet to keep you interested. Star bits can net you more 1-ups and also be used to feed hungry Lumas to access new galaxies and planets within levels. There's also pull stars, which require you to point the remote at them and grab it with A to pull Mario towards them, these wads of gum you have to pull back to fling Mario forward, and missions that turn your cursor into a can of compressed air to blow Mario within a bubble throughout a treacherous obstacle course. Of course, there are sections that require the use of extensive motion control as well. As stated, spinning requires flicking the Wii Remote, and launch stars require a swift flick to launch Mario into space. These are amazing. Not only do these trigger some wicked neat and quick animations, but they're so satisfying to trigger. Power-ups return in Mario Galaxy, and a fair amount of them depend on the waggle of the Wii Remote. I gotta be honest, the power-ups in Galaxy are nothing special. They're cool ideas, but either they have a time limit or just not that fun to use. The headliner is the Bee Mushroom, which transforms you into Bee Mario. You can fly for a very brief period of time and can stand on flowers and clouds while also being able to cling and traverse honeycomb walls. I always found it weird that puddles of honey still slowed Bee Mario down though. It felt like moseying through honey with no problems would have been an easy advantage to give to this power-up. The Boo Mushroom turns you into a Boo, with the shake of a Wii Remote turning you invisible to go through some objects. The Fire Flower makes a return in the form of a timed power-up. Flicking the Wii Remote throws fireballs for a short period. The S-Flower allows Mario to turn water and lava into platformable ice with a shake, allowing Mario to skate on it. The Spring Mushroom turns Mario into this ungodly creature and allows for some insane jumps, but at the cost of being an awkward mess to control. The Rainbow Star is an invincibility power-up, and the most underwhelming power-up in the whole game is the Red Star. Underwhelming because this is actually a great power-up, but it's so underutilized that it saddens me greatly. It allows you to fly and controls extraordinarily well. I just wish it was in some actual stages. Power-ups are completely context sensitive. They're only available in very specific instances, and they mostly don't feel like a power-up, but more so just an excuse for a change of pace. But who could forget everybody's favorite motion-controlled segments of Galaxy, the rolling ball, the manta ray, and the trash stages. Hold the Wii Remote like a joystick to control Mario on a rolling ball. Get to the goal and get to the star, but my god, I think they programmed this ball to make sure the player is breathing extensively through their nose while controlling it. It's pretty stressful, but nowhere near that hard or annoying. With the manta ray sections, you point the Wii Remote at the screen and turn it like a key to ride the manta ray and control where it goes. I always found these missions to be far harder than the rolling ball ones. It just goes so much faster and it's so easy to fall out of the water. We also have the worst part of the entire game, cleaning up the robot Gizmo's trash. Throw bombs to blow up the trash. You have a pretty strict time limit. You truly have to have a nearly perfect run to succeed here. This guy acts ungrateful when I don't get all the trash blown up in 30 seconds. What reality does this game live in? You have to throw the bombs where these golden dots are for perfection, but man, did I not know that on my first rodeo. I feel like everybody mentions these motion control missions in the game and make it seem as if Galaxy is filled to the brim with these things. Don't be fooled, these types of missions only appear 2 to 3 times in the entire game. Out of the 121 stars to collect, these barely scratch the surface. Galaxy has a plethora of variety in its missions. It truly doesn't get boring or repetitive. And this is finally the portion where I can talk about some specific levels and things, and oh me, oh my, please excuse me, this is my favorite game of all time. Honeyhive Galaxy, get in my mouth, this is such a charming level. All the beats are floating around and you get to traverse Queen Bee. Look how good this looks. Racing against Boo in the Ghosty Galaxy via the Pole Stars was intense, but man, it was so satisfying to win. And the boss fight in that area, Boulder guys, oh my god, what a boss. King Caliente, oh, you gotta wham the rocks back at him, and it's so satisfying, like here comes a bitch, do a little jump, wham! Gusty Galaxy is sex. The Toy Time Galaxy is amazing. It's just so much fun to play through. I love it. The opening section, oh, this is where it all began, and what an intro. It's so beautiful and peaceful. Look at those a few moments. Rosalina's backstory is told through a storybook. You get more and more chapters throughout the game, and holy moly, it's a downer and a half, but holy moly, a Mario character with a backstory. Prankster comics appear in the older stages that bring harder versions of stars you already completed into the mix, and one of them being a race against this bastard. Completing the game with all the stars gets you nothing.
Super Luigi Galaxy.
Pardon me, you get Luigi. Ah! Nintendo didn't change the missions where you have to rescue Luigi, so it's Luigi rescuing Luigi, but still, it's nice to get something for completing the game. It's way better than Sunshine, which didn't give you diddles for completing it. Speaking of which, I feel like this game's difficulty is just right, especially compared to Sunshine. With Sunshine, I always had to ask the game, what's so funny, while Galaxy is a comfortable romp that isn't too easy, but can get a little feisty sometimes. Especially Luigi's purple coins. This stage was straight up anxiety attack my first time around. The Comet Observatory is a wonderful hub. It's not as fun to explore as Peach's Castle in Mario 64 or Isle Delfino in Sunshine, but man, the music, the visuals, they all add up to such a great place to roam around, to go level to level. The Bowser battles, oh my god, the most memorable thing about the game, whacking Bowser, seeing him spin across the planet with the orchestrated music in the background, the chorus chanting, this is what society led up to. This game truly had my attention the moment it started up. Just the way Mario runs toward the Star Festival with his arms out gets me every time. It's just so charming. This was the first Mario game I really got into. As a kid, I played a lot of Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Bros. 3, the original, and I dabbled in Mario 64 and Sunshine, but Galaxy truly engrossed me. This is not just a game, but truly an experience and a masterpiece at that. Yeah, it's more linear than Mario 64 and Sunshine, which some may dislike, but I believe the minds behind this game did this because that was truly the perfect vision for what Galaxy should be. Galaxy was conceptualized as a 3D Mario that was more accessible to novice players, and I think it succeeded greatly. It's easy for more to pick up compared to 64 and Sunshine, but it's not dumbed down for veterans. The game Super Mario 3D World does this as well, being a 3D Mario game that plays just like a 2D one, but I prefer the way Galaxy executed the more accessible 3D Mario idea. 3D World had less memorable level and art design, while Galaxy is one of the most memorable games out there. Recently, Super Mario Odyssey released to critical acclaim, and with its return to the non-linear sandbox style of the first two 3D games, many would say that is their new favorite Mario game. Dude, I can totally see why. Odyssey is a masterpiece, and objectively, one could say it's better than Galaxy. But Galaxy means so much to me. It's a phenomenal experience. It's all up to preference, and while the future of Mario is looking brighter than ever with Odyssey, Galaxy will always be not only my favorite Mario game, but my favorite game of all time. If they were to ever end the Mario series, I think Galaxy would have been a perfect way to end it. But blam, we'll get to that eventually. Of course, with the game's elements of the great beyond, one may wonder, is any of this possible in the distant crevices of outer space? And that's why I constructed the Mario Galaxy probability formula. It formulates the percent chance of the probability of giant bees in outer space. It's 0.